Your journey, your lessons, the journey and lessons that can.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the Journeys and the Lessons podcast. Of course, I'm so excited to bring this to you. Last week, we are having a conversation in our last episode, and we're talking with gospel recording artist Crystal Reid. And we're talking about her journey, her lessons. And of course, we give you part one. And now we are going to um, join with Crystal back to continue the conversation as we've talked about. If you're just joining us, if you didn't get to listen last week, we talked about from early childhood, growing up and marrying and family, and she talked about some wounds and about different transition and transition to Canada, and we'll be talking about ministry and where ministry has taken her until now, the journey, and just hoping that through her journey, that there's something that you will receive through your own journey. So in her story, you'll also see your journey and also be able to appreciate the lessons and see the lessons that you have learned along the way and appreciate those lessons, understanding that you're not by yourself. And all of us, at some point, we all have a journey, we all have a lesson, and we all have something to learn. So we're going to get started. As we said, unlock, unfiltered, your journey, your lesson. And of course, I'm joined by my very good friend. We grew up together, yeah, man, gospel recording artist, Crystal Reid. Crystal, thank you so much for joining us on week two. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you
Well,
for having me, Saf. I'm glad to be back.
yes, welcome to the Journeys and the Lessons podcast. So, we start a wonderful conversation in our last episode talking about your journey and childhood and everything and marriage and family. And we tap into ministry because now you have transitioned from Jamaica where you're born and raised, and now you're here in Canada. And the Lord would have sent you what we call a destiny helper to help you and do your first recording. You wrote your first album, you release it, music is out, and ministry. A lot of persons don't really understand, or they see recording, who you get into ministry. And the next thing to everybody think every recording artist rich. So you have to talk to me about some of the riches and all of this. So talk to me about tapping into that, into ministry, and to be able to, receive that this is where the Lord has really called me. And now I'm seeing the open door. So you receive it in respect of the imposter syndrome that
Mm-mm.
not thinking I'm good enough. Me, God, why me? How you receive it and where you are in a journey.
Let me first say that's a myth. That's a big myth about being, and that's true because as a child growing up and you hear all these different artists singing, you're like, oh my God, there's money in it. And no, it's a big myth. Well, on the journey, I must say that I appreciate where I am right now. It has caused me to release my second album. The other day I was sitting down, I was going through, someone asked me for some music. They're from Florida, and the DJ wanted some of my music. I was going through the catalog. I was like, I didn't know I had so many songs. I didn't realize. It didn't click until I
Yes,
was clicking the songs. I'm like, oh my God, he says 10 songs. Which ones?
yes,
I'm giving God praise. I'm giving him glory. What keeps me doing music is a fact when the scripture talk, only what's done for Christ will last. There's something alluding to that in the Bible. Only what you do for Christ will last. And I'm doing it not for me, because if it was just for me, I wouldn't do it. It is expensive.
yes, it is.
If you don't have money or links, not to say I have, trust me, it doesn't make sense.
Lots of people don't know that, especially putting out your own work and you're not signed to some major
Exactly.
that is covering the cost.
It is very expensive. And the more you become known, the more expensive it becomes for you. So if you're just starting out, a producer might say, yeah, man, I'll do one thing for you and charge you a $2. But the mere fact that your name is already out there, that $2 becomes $10.
Oh yes.
And that's how it is. So it's so important when doing music too that you have a good team with you, persons that you can rely on. And I do have a solid team with me. And I must say, shout out to my MD, Michael Reid. He's another recording artist himself. He's been a source of strength in the ministry. Because trust me, if I had gone myself, I would be broke.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
But I'm really thanking God for
It's
putting
no riches as how people think you have millions of dollars sitting on from
for
from
secular for secular artists there can be, because when it comes to the gospel industry, it is harder.
it is.
It's very hard. It's not as open because some do it for riches, some do it for God, some do it for church, some do it for their own gratification. What are you doing it for? All right, but I still remain as it is. I'm not doing it for riches. I'm not doing it for riches to this very day. And through music, it has caused me to meet a lot of people, a lot of different artists. Come to trust me, some stuff I've experienced in the industry. Trust me, it's not worth it. To be
Let
honest,
us way into that because that's what a lot of persons don't
not worth it.
understand. What is one of the things that surprise you when you start to do ministry? And here it is, you start to do concerts and big stage and big concerts and this and that. Because you always see the lights and the light look bright and everything look nice and dandy. When you start to connect with other artists, other producers, um, what you would call them promoters for these events, give us some of the story, some of the journey, because it's a part of your journey. What you have learned, what shocked you, what you're like, oh, I didn't know this, eh, things like this happen because it's gospel. What are some of the things that shock you along the way in ministry and doing it as a minister slash artist?
It shocked me to know that a lot of the artists use it as a facade. So some of the famous artists that you will see on stage and they're calling down God in the crowd and you're bawling and you're singing, you're being touched. When they're off stage, it's a whole different ballgame.
Wow,
It's like two different people.
wow,
It's like you see, I'm gonna use not calling her name for anything harmful or anything. Like for example, secular artist Spice. Because I call her name because she's known and the
right.
name is there right now. On stage she's Spice, but I'll say she's Grace. Some of these artists are the same way.
Mm,
When you I remember one artist tell you that she's not going on stage until they pay her money, or she's not going on stage, or she's not coming unless she get first class travel, or she's not doing this, or she's not, or they're not doing that. It 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 blows my mind to this day. I can't. I'm like, is this the same person who's out there? So
you're baffled by it. You're
trust
baffled
me,
by it. We reach out
nothing
to one
phase
artist.
me anymore. Nothing phase me when it comes to artists. And these, because I'm now, I wouldn't say I'm a part of it, but I'm getting to have access to certain things. It
Right.
doesn't. I'm not frightened when I see these people come. I'm like, yeah, I know what you're coming with. I'm not even gonna go there. It baffles me. Trust me.
Wow.
Some stuff I because I'm out there, I can't say names. I can't call any name.
Absolutely.
Can't point out a venue because
Right.
people know that.
Don't want to implicate anybody in it, but it's part of the journey that you'll never understand that these things exist until you really get into it and you're like, it's not what you see. It's
All
not
right.
the bright lights, the
Give
glitter.
you a prime example. I did an event because sometimes I do shows. I did two shows, well, a couple of shows, but I did my major show um, just last year where I did my second album launch. I brought up Jai Kingston and I did some local artists and I did some, I had another artist on the show. And when I started, I was having a conversation with somebody who's a part of the industry. And I was saying to him that, I'm thinking of having two particular artists on my show. And the person said to me, one of the persons, and the reason why I want these two people because I've worked with them before and they've done collabs with me, and I've had projects with them. So I'm comfortable bringing them into my city, to get to know them more and whatnot. And the person was really bad mouthing one of them. He doesn't like him, da 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 da. I don't think, whatever. And that's someone in the industry. And he was sharing his story of how distasteful this other artist was, which I didn't had that experience. Anyhow, he introduced another artist to me. And I said, okay, based on the fact that you know me, and when I say no, not really know me very closely, but you've gotten to know me, I'm going to trust that whoever you recommend for my show. And this artist that he recommended is a well-known artist for many years, 20 odd, 30 odd years is in the industry. So I'm thinking this man has some form of, they call it no, value. You're respectful, you're honest. I'm expecting that,
Integrity.
especially if you represent, we represent Christ.
It's integrity at the least.
Integrity.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, we had several meetings with this artist, and I think it's the first time I'm going to put it out there. And he expressed to me what is required of him coming. And I said, okay, no problem. He says that I would have to cover certain costs for certain things to get him here. And I'm like, for my show, okay, no problem. Toops, quick, send the money. The thing about it, what I failed to do, I didn't consult God about him. I didn't. And that's where I failed. I mean, pay up plane fare, everything. Pay up money, book flight, cancel flight, lose the money there, book flight again, and lose that money there. Send money, go give, take care of documentations, everything. Lo and behold, I was conned. Yeah.
Wow.
All my money. Never. The intent of what he was supposed to do was not really what he did. So the money was stolen to do something else.
Wow.
Yeah. An art gospel recording artist.
Wow.
And it reached a point where I said I was going to take the person to court. I was going to sue them. And I reached out to some producers across the world that I know, and I spoke with them, and I told them who the person was. And they said to me, Crystal, don't do it. Don't bring him. Let him stay. But this is what we're going to do. Because I tell us it's really knitted. The industry, people in the industry from gospel.
Right.
Say, I know something, I guarantee somebody over there says gonna know.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
somebody over there says don't say anything. And I spoke to all these producers and I told them. And these are producers that host big shows. One of the biggest in Jamaica right now is Moby Jerk Fest. Close to some them big. I spoke to the producer behind it.
Right.
Said, don't bring him to court. And I had to go on fasting and prayer to ask God to release him from it, because I never expected that. And that's when you fail when you put trust in man. And it's the same thing with the industry.
Mm-hmm.
There's people out there, they've been performing for years. You see them on the big stage. Behind door, they're devils.
Men are complete failure. And I think that's where it hurt when you're not expecting, because you expect us to live above certain things, and there's a level of integrity that we must carry as those ones representing the gospel. And it is sad to say, it happened in preaching and ministry, traveling and preaching, a lot of similar experience where persons will block you and said not to bring this, and and then you just expect a level of integrity. You're so disappointed by when you see somebody and you admire them, and then when you really come to know them, you're wondering if it's the same person. There's one person I said to a friend, I've always admired this preacher from I'm young, and it so happened this persons have been preaching long before I am, and finally get to meet the person, and we're on the same conference and convention, and I was so excited to meet the person. When I met the person, I said, um, it would have been better me not meeting them, because my idea of the person was way better than what my reality is. And so I was upset meeting the person, not
Yes.
because of what I was upset, because my idea of them was so much better. and
Yeah.
I respect the person so much that I wanted to maintain that
Respect them from
identity.
a distance.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I had to compartmentalize it so that I can understand better. So back in the journey, Crystal, the big stage. How these come across now? Because now, your name is out there. Person know your name. You're getting booked for these events and these different shows, from stage show, from gospel stage shows to churches to um conferences to the. How did that come about? How persons now start know about Crystal Reid and all of this start to happen, and how you process this, because now you're fully engrossed in the ministry. There's no turning back at this point.
I wish I can turn back. It's an humbling experience. It is an humbling experience. How people contact me, as I say, is not who you know, but who knows you. And I always tell persons that I don't invite myself to nowhere. I'm not going to see you have an event and then come plant myself and ask you to invite me or tell you that I'm not going to do it. I'm running as fast as I can. Always, to this very day.
Mhm.
If it comes, I said, it must be a reason. God has a reason why I'm on that platform. If I'm not on the platform, God knows the reason why I should not be on the platform. So I'm in a state now where if I get called, to God be the glory. And if I don't get called, to God be the glory, because He knows. I'm never one to be running to these events and stages. I'm not that one. I tell you to this day, because I take ministry, as I says, it's a place where now I appreciate the state where I'm at, where God, I'm gonna be vulnerable to your people, and if this is your will, make sure that when I'm done, somebody is edified, that you are glorified. And make sure within that means that the devil is terrified of the
Ooh,
ministry.
ooh,
That's the state I'm in. So I'm never running into it. Never.
wow.
It comes by people knowing me, either through the music itself or someone knowing who I am and speak to someone. I remember the first time I went on one of the biggest stages here, and it's been a yearly thing. I think for the past 5, 6 years, they've been calling me, and they wanted it's a show that happens, and it hosts over 3,000 people in the auditorium, to the 5,000 people in the auditorium. And there was one act that didn't show up one year, and they needed somebody else. And this lady, the producer behind the show, came to a simple concert, and she saw me. I was just doing simple. Vocals was terrible. I just had a little keyboard, a little drum on, and my ping pong, and a little bassy, and just started. I think I just in the same year I was preparing my first album, so I just started. And she heard me, and she's like, "I need to get that girl on the show." And she spoke to my MD, Michael, and Michael said, "Yeah, man, it's Kristen." I said, "Me? No, sir." And I'm like, God Almighty, am I gonna go on this big stage? I mean, when you stood on the stage and you look down and you see chairs and you see the big lights, I'm like, this is my first big experience. One of the first. I was shooken. But I said, what I know I'm gonna give. And I went there and I didn't perform anything original because I didn't have anything original out. So that was the first time, and I went, and the day of the event, I couldn't even see people among the crowd, and I went on the stage and I said, God, just shut my eye, and I went into that place. I just went into that space with God, and I said, God, use me. Although it's a show, you have set time and you're set. You just let the Lord have his way. And from that, before I became or being known, before I put on my first single, it's been a yearly thing for them to always say, what we want, Crystal, we want Crystal every year.
What a
And
blessing.
I'm appreciative of it. I remember I did I think it was Moby Gospel no Moby Jerk Fest one year. Man, people like dirt. So,
I think I saw that concert.
Oh,
That
it was a humbling
was
experience.
massive. Yes. I
So
think I
it's
saw a concert on YouTube.
yeah, it's a humbling experience. But I give God thanks for the small ones. I like the small ones because they're intimate.
Hmm.
I like the intimacy of worship.
It's almost like me. I rather preach at a storefront
Yeah,
to being a big church, and I've had some major conferences, and something about a little storefront church with about 50 people in there.
or less.
70, just do, yeah, man, just do something. Because I'm telling you, when the worship turn up in that place, my God, miracles happen. There's a storefront I go every year in Rochester, New York, and let me tell you, man, oh God, the fire of the Lord is in that place, and it just feels so much better than me like
Yes.
large churches, because my church that I go, it's roughly 400 people, 300 people. It's a good amount on a given Sunday morning, especially when there's two services, and if there's one services, we're 550, 600 strong on a one service, especially when it's like a Easter or a Mother's Day or
Mm.
some big event. That place is rock solid packed. And I'll preach, but nothing like a little church with about 50 people where that really just love God and come. Nothing like, for me, a country church in Jamaica, somewhere in the rural,
Yes,
where
man.
they're walking to church in the dark, and when they come,
Just
my
come.
God, Holy
Just
Ghost.
walk in.
So yeah, so these small ones, I totally get it when they talk about the intimacy of these smaller places. So looking back at your journey when you started, what surprised you most about your journey? What
No,
would
I,
you surprise you the most?
that I would have the confidence I have today.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow,
I'm confident in my skin, the woman I've become, and who I am. No.
wow.
And I've learned over the years that I had more influence than I thought because my intention was not to.
Mm-hmm.
My intention was never to be seen.
Mm,
But for some reason, I can't walk in my city in peace.
mm. People see you, people recognize you and know.
Everywhere I go, and the funny part about it, I remember I went to far side of my city to visit a store in my just normal state, and I just want to just go in and shop. Crystal Reid! Who know me over here? So
Yes,
it
that's
has
what
shown
ministry
me,
is.
and not only that, I've released my book last year. My blessing came at a price, where I shared my entire journey from childhood, and it is for 16 years and older because it's very vulnerable, it's very blunt, it's very open and transparent. And a lot of people that have purchased the book came to me crying.
Wow.
Some can't look in my face. Some is saying, Sister Crystal, I see you as this person, but I didn't know that you went through that. So that only the music. And then the thing about it, the Lord has given me resilience. He has given me, I'm no longer shy. I'm able to stand before anybody and tell you my story. What is
Mm.
it that you want to know? Abortion?
It's to just face it head on.
You're talking about living on the streets? Been there. You're
Mm.
talking about, it doesn't matter. I'm able to share what God has brought me through. So I didn't know then that I would be where I'm at today.
Unafraid, unapologetic,
Unapologetic.
you. Unlock, unfiltered,
Yes.
your journey, your
Yes.
story, and you're really just embracing it
Just embracing
and
it.
embracing the truth of who you are and the
Exactly.
truth of what the Lord has brought you into. Talk to me about the book. Where is the book available? How
It
can
is available on Amazon.
the book is
Uh,
available on Amazon, and the title of the book is
it's My Blessing Came with a Price. So I'm typing it right here for
Blessing
you.
Came with a Price. Crystal Reed on Amazon. My Blessing Came with a Price. So grab your copy. Got to get a copy of the book. We're talking about it. We're touching some points of it, but you want to go in depth and get it. Trust me. Get the book. My Blessing Came with a Price. Love it. Love it. You mentioned resiliency. What role would you say then? Resilience, having that resilience mindset. What role did that play in pushing you through some difficult times? Because I'm sure, and you touch on some of them, some real difficult time. but having just that push, that resilience that I'm not going to break even when I bend to the point I break. How did that play a role?
I am someone's hero,
Ooh,
and those are my children.
mm,
I tell myself that as long as God gives me breath, whatever I do is for them. I will have my weekdays and my up days, my rocky days. But one thing I promise myself that I will never give up because of my children. I am setting a road for them to let them know that it's not easy. Mommy never had it easy. And if mommy never back down, who dare you to back down? And that's where resilience is for me. So every day I get up, I'm going to do something. If I'm going to work today, I'm doing this for my children. So when they come, Mom, listen, but this is hard. No, it is hard, yes, but it's for a reason.
and you
It's
don't have
easy.
permission to fail
You don't get permission to
or
fail.
to give up. You
So
don't have.
I am someone's hero, and those are my children. That's what built my. I'm not doing this to me. I think I reach a point. I don't need riches to know that I'm blessed now. I don't need to have the big house and a massive car, my bank account loaded till it tumble. I don't know what to do with it. I don't need that to know that I'm blessed. The mere fact that I'm able to impact somebody's life somewhere across the world, that's a blessing for me, man. I will remember once, I remember I told you in my last week episode, I spoke about abortion. I almost aborted my daughter.
Hmm.
At church, I went to church and I gave a testimony. The Lord, it was testimony service on Sunday night. And we had visitors and testimony, come and testify. And I'm like, no, go up there. I testify. And they want to go pick me up and push me up there. I said, Lord, we need to talk. Oh no. And when I opened my mouth, I spoke about the abortion.
Wow.
And the entire church was silent. And you know, my dad.
Hmm.
My dad came after church. Who dare you to say something like that? You want to embarrass me? And daddy was mad. But little did he know, after that service ended, a lady out of nowhere, I'd never seen her in the community before, never seen her visit the church before. She came and she came to me in tears and she said, thank you. I said, thank me for what? Tomorrow I was going to the hospital to abort my current pregnancy. And you saved my child.
Wow.
Who- You don't want anything more than that?
Wow. My blessing came with a price. Came with a price because sometimes the Lord allow you to go through something and you don't know who is going to be blessed from it after all these years. But then I want you to look at the story, Crystal. The last episode when we talk about it, somebody, the Lord allow someone to come to deliver a word to tell you
To do it.
do it. How much years later the Lord would use you to share your story to tell somebody
Not
not
to do
to do
it.
it. You see
Yes.
how God is? So until you have gone through, you couldn't help the person because you wouldn't know what you're talking about. But the Lord would have allowed you to experience that so that you can help someone. And so that's why we can't discount our journey.
You know.
Everybody's journey is different, and my journey is not yours, and
Yes.
your journey is not mine. But we cannot discredit other person's journey. It is
Yes.
for a reason and for their strengthening. Um,
Yes.
we talk about the journey and we want to tap into some of the lessons. What are some of the lessons you will say? Top three lessons that you have learned.
I'm very family orientated. I become that. And let's go back. Let's take it back a little bit and then take it through that journey and then now why it's a lesson. Back in the day when I was 13, 13, 14 thereabout, when I was being molested by my cousin. And I told my grandma, well, I didn't really tell my grandma because for one, it's a golden child. She never believed me. So I told my cousin's brother, which who turned around to molest me on top of it. And I'm like, okay. And I went and I told my mom, and she didn't believe me. I was chastised for it. It led me to attempt suicide twice. I drank kerosene oil, sat down waiting to die, and I belched. I went and I took a rope, put it around my neck, jump off a tree, thought I would die. I'm still standing here today. That has taught me as a mom. It doesn't matter if my child is telling me a lie, I'm going to listen. It taught me that as a parent, we don't always know what we think we know. We don't know everything. It taught me as a mom to be open with my kids or create that safe space for my children that they're free and willing to come and find solitude in me. That's what that journey has taught me. As I said, I will never forget, as I said, resiliency.
Resilience.
Yeah.
What do you know now, Crystal? When you look at your journey and you have put it all together and you go, what are three things, and we'll stay here, that you wish you had known when the journey started? I wish I know or have known this. Three things.
I wish I'd known that healing is possible.
Woo! That's deep.
I wish I'd known that I am a survivor.
Mm, mm.
And I wish I knew that I would know and experience in life.
That you're worthy.
I'm
I
worthy.
wish I know I am worthy of being loved.
Worthy of being loved. Yeah.
Yes.
Three
My
things.
God, these are deep. It's going to be the tearjerker.
Yeah.
Wish
Those
I
two.
had known. Because a lot of persons don't know that you're capable of being loved
Yeah.
and you are worthy.
Worthy of being loved. Yeah.
Yes. So we want to speak that into the life of a young woman, especially. You are worthy in spite of your journey, in spite of your trials. You are worthy of being loved. You're good enough. You're worth it.
Mm.
You're strong enough. You're bold enough. You're called. You're gifted. You are the answer to somebody's prayer. You may
Yes.
be a mistake for your mother, but you were right on time for God. You are in
Yes.
His plans. You're on purpose. Wow, that is so good.
Yes.
I want to tap into how has your journey really, because this is all the lessons that you have learned. How has it changed you personally and then professionally? Looking at your journey, all that have come through, how has it shaped you personally? Like how has this shaped you?
To
And
be
then professionally, because through your journey, some things you learn how we carry ourselves professionally and show up in other thing, right? So how has it shaped you?
to be appreciative and to be simply be me.
Mm,
You either gonna accept me or reject me, and I'm okay with both. I'm appreciative of the smallest things. I'm appreciative of the fact that it's not everything that glitters is gold. And I'm not frightened, I would say, frightened over every little, you see big flashes of things and person says, so over there, say, say the gold mine over there. No, no, no. The simple things
how
in
we
life.
celebrate the simple things in life
Simple things in
and be
life.
appreciative of that. And
Yeah,
that is just so good.
yeah.
If you could go back to all that you have been through, um, and looking back over your life and you have learned from it. But if there could be one thing that you would have changed, if you had the power going back to change it, what would it be and why?
For my mom to love me.
Ooh.
I
Mm,
still struggle with it today. I'm not gonna cry. You're not gonna make me cry today. No.
mm, mm,
I was in bed the other day and I was saying to my husband, I wish I had a mom that could just be vulnerable to.
mm.
And she just extend her heart, our arms, our mind, and embrace me.
Mm,
That's the only thing I think I would change. Because my experience, it had to happen, or it happened, but I wish I had that mother's love.
mm,
Yeah.
mm. A lot of time you find young ladies suffer from daddy gone syndrome, is what I call it. But very rare you hear from mommy gone syndrome. And mommy gone, mommy is there. I know who mommy is, but mommy is absent from my life. And not absent in, as in I cut her off, but that love, I don't feel her.
Feel it.
I don't
Yeah.
feel her presence. I
Yeah.
don't feel like I can be open enough, vulnerable enough, and just tell you. And without judgment, my daughter, no worry. I love you so much, you see, girl. You make me so proud. And you feel it, and you know it is so, and you feel that because you genuinely had that loving and that connection. And so when mommy would say that, our mind will go back to the warmth. That even if they're not in the same room, you feel like mommy is holding you
Safe.
because you went back to that warmth where she would usually hug you and say it and hug you and said, how much I love you. That mommy would have loved me. That it's deep. It is deep. How do
Yeah.
you stay motivated though, in spite of your setbacks? How you stay motivated? I mean, handling your setbacks. How you stay motivated? Knowing that you got to keep going forward in spite of.
I use every negative part aspect along the journey as a motivating factor. For me, um, every time I remember when I was told that I can't do something, I make sure I do exactly what I was told I cannot do. That is what's pushing me. So, for example, when my grandaunt looked at me and she said, "You'll never become anything good in life. You, I will hear about you." She looked deep in my soul and tell that to me. And I would look at that and I said, "Really? Watch me."
I hope you sign her up for YouTube so she can watch you.
I
Um,
have not, I have no connection with her whatsoever. I don't know if she's alive. I don't know if she's dead. I tried to reach out to her and she pushed me away saying she didn't want anything to do with me. That was several years ago.
and
So I
that's all
just
right.
said the way. But I pray for her to this day that God will change her mindset and help her through her journey. So these are my motives, and I said before my children. I looked at my daughter. I never went to university after I left high school. And something what I want for my children, I said to my daughter, "You listen, you see when you get out of high school, you're going straight into college. But don't want me. You're going straight, I'll pay for it. Get the education that you need before you settle down with any marriage, before you do any family. Get what you need first. Set
Because
a foundation that when these come, it add value. You know what I mean? And these are things I wasn't taught. So they are my motivators. So I will constantly asking them what you want to become. Remind them of them. Do you remember you said you want to become a teacher? Let's travel that pathway. How about church? What are you doing? What's going on for church? Mama want to sing. Okay, you're singing with the choir. Keep singing. So everything that I was told, every day I see it. Everything I was told I would not become. I was told I'm not worthy of. I give to my children.
so you're using the negativity and
Yeah,
negative stuff that you were told that you'll never be, you'll never get
yeah,
this, that. And you're using that to turn into motivators, to not only motivating yourself, but
yeah.
also to motivate your children and
Yes.
teaching them that the resilience, because what I didn't have, I'm going to make sure that you have it.
Yes.
And everything that and this is a great way, it's a good it's great psychology. Everything that I didn't have, I'm going to make sure that you have it. Everything I was told I wouldn't have gotten or received in life, I'm going to make sure you receive it.
You receive it.
I am going to be a demonstration to you that you have a demonstrate, somebody that you can look up to say, my mom did it. And so can I. I have no excuse to do it. And that is just so much powerful lessons that you have learned. So
And
it's
not only that,
Mhm.
I'm there with them on their journey to
There
make
you
sure
go.
that they get it. I'm right there beside them on the journey to success for them.
And that is so powerful because not everybody know how to take negative situation and turn into positive. And so you're saying I'm taking negative stuff. What person said I wouldn't have become, wouldn't do, and I'm telling you, trust and believe. I am going to do exactly what you said. And these are some of the lessons that you have learned along your journey. What is one and we talk about some lessons that you have learned from somebody in ministry, somebody somewhere, a little old lady, a little old man, taught you something many years ago as you come on your journey and you have carried it to this day. What is the lesson you want to impart from what somebody have taught you?
Very interesting. The Lord has planted a lot of persons along my journey. And you know that some persons are there permanently, some are just there for a season. They come and they're there for a little while and they're gone. And one other thing I remember Minister Pastor Cynthia Francis met her when I came to Canada. And I'm always seeking for that mother love. You know, persons they seek for daddy and in front of this a man, that man. No, I always seek for mother's love. There's something about the mother. Whew, it's differently. I don't know. The
Yes.
nurturing part of the mom. When I came to Canada and I went to the church, the first time I met her, I found my mother, spiritual mother. And when you know your person, you know because you become vulnerable without any hesitation. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You're able to open up, and I checked her out for a while to make sure, and that woman was confidential. She was nurturing, and she always pouring. Didn't know at the time that she had her struggles, health struggles. She went to Mayor so rest in peace. She passed off a couple of years ago.
Mm,
But she always encouraged me to let me know that I am worth it, Crystal. Because she saw the struggles. She saw I was struggling with a lot of stuff, especially low self-esteem. You couldn't get me sit on a platform and talk to you. You crazy? No, I'm not doing that. And when she taught me that I'm worth it, Crystal, you are worth it. Never forget that. I use that and I'm like, okay. When struggles come and situations arise, I will say, Crystal, you can do it, girl. You got this. You got this. And I can hear her voice in the back of my head. So I would think that she played an integral role in my life for a short period of time. Yeah, I would say that.
but have you ever noticed, Crystal, that the Lord, I mean, talking to you and going through your journey and learning a lot about you that I didn't know before. Um, have you noticed what is so much about your journey is that the Lord keep giving you what you need
Mm-hmm,
versus what you want. Always at some aspect of your life, the Lord give you what you need. You
mm-hmm,
needed some love, He throw your uncle in.
mm-hmm.
When your uncle died, you met your dad and you're like, okay, all right, I found another man.
It's a man,
Found
yeah.
somebody I love. Like, all right, daddy, I feel like I have now somebody who got me. And before you know it, then you met your husband and like, hey, receive me. I'm here to love you. This is my assignment to love you because God is sending, giving you exactly what you need. And you're like, but I need a mother. And my stepmom come in and go, hey, mommy's here. You know what I mean? Oh, I have my daughter. I don't know what to give her, stepmom. I got you.
Got you.
Go. She's going to be all right. I got you. And then you come to Canada and they're like, all right, God, now you put my stepmom in my life. I'm in a different place. I don't have her now. I can talk to her on the phone, but she know me more than anybody. I can look at her and she know exactly what's happening. She's not here. And he puts that woman of God who have transitioned in your life to go, let me give you exactly what you need in this moment. Here's
Yes.
mom.
He's
and
enough.
He will connect the thing again. So if you look at your journey, and I'm just looking at your journey, and I'm like, at different aspect of your life,
Mhm. Lord gave me what I needed.
the Lord just give you what you needed, not what you want, what you
Mhm.
and what you know that you needed. Every different aspect of your journey as your journey continue. As we're looking to, we have about 5 minutes on the podcast, but I'm telling you, this has just been an amazing. And the Lord know why He tell me to just connect with you and let's just talk about this. There's just so much history is there. Um, One other thing, as we talk about or your journey, the lessons that you have learned
Mhm.
away. What lesson, before we look forward, what lesson would you want to pass to a young girl, Crystal, who have traveled the similar path, feeling unloved, broken by the world, feel like sometimes parents failed me, feel like the church failed me, society failed me. Um, I don't feel like there's hope for me on my journey because it's tough. They may have a young girl who had a child by a man and just leave her and somebody else come to be her rescue, give her another one and gone and somebody else come and that has just become the story of her life. What do you say to a young girl that is searching for that love from daddy because he wasn't there, from mommy because she wasn't there? And
Wait
she's
on the Lord.
huh?
Wait on the Lord.
Wait on the Lord.
Isaiah said he couldn't put it any clearer, not any better. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. It's something about the waiting process. Everybody has to learn how to wait. And waiting requires patience.
Ooh,
Nobody likes to wait. Sometime you go in a line and you
okay.
want a patty, you're hungry. What are your options? Instead of waiting for the new batch of hot, nice, juicy patty, you go to a road because you see one man on the sidewalk selling some patty, not knowing the patty when you eat it, I go to sick you kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Or you go on this to go buy one patty, you waste the money because it never tastes good. Or something along the way. But it's so imperative for us to understand the importance of waiting on the Lord. And not only wait, He promised us that if you choose to wait, if you wait on Him, on His timing, He promises you blessing of wings rising above. What does that says? It means that at some point along the journey, the Bible says, weeping endure for a night. That means joy come. That means it's a process and it comes to an end at some point in time. So it's so important to wait. And my encouragement to these persons is that if you trust God and just patiently rely on Him, and while you wait, do what is required of you in the waiting process. Even in life sound tough, things get tough. Now go fast as you can, money now flow as it can, daddy now come as him should, or things just not come into play. He promises that He will give you new strength. He promises you that He will allow you to rise above any struggles that you're going through, just like an eagle, as it says in Isaiah, soaring in the sky. You ever go through some day yet where you do so much things and you're not burn out, you don't feel like you're overwhelmed?
Right.
That's what God does for persons who wait. If you wait, Him give you that which is rightfully yours. I've heard of a story once of a young lady in church. She couldn't wait. She see a man and she liked the man and the man come her way. Pastors told her not to marry him. Ministers come to her. People get dream tell her don't marry the man, and she couldn't wait because she need a man. She went and she married him. And on the wedding night, he dropped dead. Autopsy report found out that the man had full-blown AIDS.
Ooh. Wow. Wow.
It's
Wow.
important.
Wait, I say on the Lord.
Just wait.
Wait. Wait. Crystal, my last question for you. Really, really powerful. chat. Really, really excited for what the Lord is doing in your life and for where He's taking you this season. What's next for you after this achievement? After there are some things that you have accomplished and you have achieved in life that you have set out yourself. Maybe even as a young girl, you had some vision and you're able to tick off the box. Never know you would, but you're able to check some box and say, God, I thank you. Lord, I never see it, but God, I thank you.
Mhm.
What's next? What's next after this achievement?
On a spiritual level, um, my journey with God, it's a journey and it's a process, and it's to getting to know God more. And during that journey, I want to write my second book. In the process of doing the second book, just a reflection about the goodness of God. On a natural level, I'm working, I'm just almost complete my bachelor's degree and working on my master's.
Congratulations.
So I'm working on those. And I would never thought I would have gotten any one of those. So I am grateful. I've got my house already, gotten my car, I gotten all of this and that, and I put it out there, gotten this, gotten that, my business. I've gotten all of that. My bucket list checklist.
Clicks.
But I'm really truthful. I'm really, really another thing I want to work as you speak of that too. I do have a charity body that I'm working on. I haven't done anything in the past couple of years, but I'm going to revive it very soon, which is the Sea Care Ministries, where we help abused, victimized youths in Jamaica. We started the journey, helped quite a bit of youths back there, and I want to propel this ministry. I want it to grow. I want to help more abused youths in the country, because there's so many vulnerable youths out there that needs the help. They have brilliant minds but can't find the money to go to school, or
Right, right.
can't find certain resources. So that's another thing I'm working on for sure. Yeah.
Powerful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you for being with
Thank
us
you for having me.
on this installation of the Journeys and the Lessons podcast. Don't discredit your journey. Don't discredit the lessons that you have learned. Let me say big thanks to my friend, my sister from another mother, Crystal Reid, for being open, transparent, and vulnerable. As we said, unlock, unfiltered your journey, your lesson, and for joining us and to share her personal journey. And I trust that's something that she have said today that would have really resonate with you. Something that she said would have blessed you and would have helped you along your path of your this as you are discovering yourself and you're on your path, your own journey, and you're finding the lessons in your journey. I trust that something that you have said today would allow you to see the lessons and see the blessings in your journey. And remember that you are stronger because of it. And your journey does not define you. Or because you have gone through this doesn't mean that you have been discredited or you cannot recover. You can. There are lessons in the journey. And what I want you to do is to find those lessons in the journey. Find those lessons that you have learned. And so that you can look forward and you can help somebody else who is coming behind you. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Journeys and the Lessons podcast. Thank you so much for being with us. And we ask that you share, you like, subscribe, and so everybody can be, hear the good things that we're saying. So much love, much blessings on the Journeys and the Lesson podcast. As we said, unlock, unfiltered, your journey, your lessons. Thanks for being with us. Have a great one.
The journey and the lessons, your journey